Okay, I'll be fast because I know I'm right before the Vice President and your weekend. So my takeaway from the last 2 days is Nigeria, the time is right now. Just quickly what I do, what African Sunrise Partners does, our job is to bring investment into Africa. Basically, we're an investment strategy firm dedicated to sub-Saharan Africa, focused on institutional investors and corporate clients. And our business is really about market intelligence, subscription-based reports, and exploratory trips, as well as lots of matchmaking and introductions in our network. One of the most important things we heard today was the challenges will be a thing of the past. Support for business clearly starts at the top in Nigeria, based on what we've seen this week with the huge participation here in Toronto. One of the other things that was very important was hearing about killing corruption, stronger institutions, free press, vibrant democracy, and inclusive economic growth. And these are all things that will push corruption down on the conversation list. I thought the Vision 2020 targets of boosting economic performance, transforming institutions, and providing clear plans for a roadmap for growth were also very important this week. And frankly, if Nigeria is misunderstood, if Africa is misunderstood, it's up to all of us to change that. So talk to your neighbors, talk to your coworkers, talk to your friends. Make sure people understand that Africa and Nigeria are about business. We also heard that Africa and Nigeria are the last frontier. You cannot afford to ignore them. Nigeria clearly has the growth, the resources, and the huge domestic market to make it a very legitimate investment target. It has the human capital, and my experience has been Nigerians are very commercial-minded, very ambitious, ready to go to work, manufacturing, knowledge-based industries, plenty of potential there. So the broad-based themes that we heard, emphasis on private sector investment in infrastructure, agriculture, and plenty of other sectors. Sectors on the move, we heard about power, and everyone I talk to in Nigeria says that as you get electricity, you'll see a step change in economic growth. Think about people buying refrigerators instead of generators. And it will also give people confidence that actually things can change, things can be done when you start to have grid power for businesses and people don't have to create all of their own power. How big is demand? I think one thing we heard over and over again was to make sure you don't look too much at published statistics or historical numbers. Look at the MTN example. I think that demand for electricity will be on the extreme high end of the ranges that we saw. Aviation taking flight. Clearly, Nigeria starts to really get serious about upgrading these airports. We saw some pictures of the new terminals that are being opened. And I'm looking forward to my next arrival in Lagos in the new terminal. Hopefully that will be a lot smoother than the last time. ICT is a very important sector, local solutions and local profits, broadband being pushed inland and the last mile. And I think it's very exciting to watch what's happening with some of the innovations that are coming in Africa, for Africa and also for global markets. If you look at M-Pesa in Kenya, you look at some of the things we saw that BlackBerry is supporting, and Nigeria has a tremendous amount of potential. Health, room for investment in both the public and the private sectors. So as I think about, if I were talking to companies about what the key takeaways, move now or miss out. If you don't get into Nigeria, you don't get into Africa. If you wait 5 years, it will be too late. You go now and you pay your school fees. You basically learn your lessons now, and I think the risks are overstated. I mean, we've heard lots about risk reward. In my view, and I always say this to my clients, the biggest risk is in not being there. And the MTN example, again, really shows you just have to go and do your own homework. And you should find or develop a local partner. And it's not necessarily someone to co-invest with you, but the smartest and the best companies that I see have very strong dealer networks, distribution, and service. There's capacity building that happens, and it helps you really accelerate the growth of your business. So it's worth the investment up front to make sure you have the strongest possible local partnerships. And then, as I talk to corporate clients, it's essential to look at emerging markets companies that are coming in, the Chinese, Koreans, Russians, Turkish companies that are building capabilities in Africa that they're going to use to come after you at home in developed markets. Message to government, sustain the momentum. You've done all the hard work of presenting all this great information. Please be accessible to us as we come back to you with ideas. Make sure that you realize you're in a globally competitive environment and there are lots of other countries trying to bring in the same investment dollars. We definitely know companies need a clear and consistent regulatory framework. And then get the private sector to help your cause. Make them your ambassadors to go out and bring in other companies like them. So in closing, my message to the different audiences: companies, don't wait for perfection, just go. Institutional investors, Africa matters right now, and governments, keep the momentum going. And we'll see change that's incremental, but it really adds up. Very exciting time to be investing in Africa and to be investing in Nigeria, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today. So contact me to join my email list, and you'll see the stuff that we publish. I'm a real evangelist out there for Africa, particularly Nigeria, and hope to see many of you again in country or at a future conference. Thank you.